This ordinary metal box can be worth thousands of dollars to a shipping company. Not because the container itself is special, but because someone is willing to pay to move what's inside it across the world. And that's basically how the shipping business works. Shipping companies don't really sell containers. They sell space on ships. A manufacturer might pay $2,000 to move a container from one country to another. But that same container could cost $5,000 when demand is high. Why? Because the number of ships is limited. When too many businesses need to move cargo and there aren't enough available ship slots, prices go up. When there are too many ships chasing too little cargo, prices fall. Now imagine a huge container ship carrying 10,000 containers. If each container brings in an average of $2,000, that's around $20 million in revenue from one voyage. Sounds incredible, but revenue isn't profit. Before the company makes money, it has to pay for fuel, crew, ports, maintenance, insurance, containers, and much more. And fuel is one of the biggest expenses. These ships are massive and travel thousands of miles. Their engines can burn huge amounts of fuel during a single trip. That's why shipping companies sometimes do something that sounds strange. They slow their ships down. Going faster requires much more engine power and fuel. By reducing speed, a ship takes longer to reach its destination, but the fuel savings can be much bigger. So sometimes, arriving later actually makes more money. Then there's the problem of empty space. A ship still needs fuel and a crew whether it's completely full or only half full. An empty container slot earns nothing. That's why shipping companies work so hard to keep their ships full. But there's another problem: cargo doesn't always move equally in both directions. A ship might arrive in a country packed with containers, but have far fewer customers waiting to send cargo back. Now the company has to move empty containers back to places where they're needed. Those empty boxes don't generate freight revenue, but they still cost money to move. This is one of the hidden costs of the shipping industry. And shipping companies don't always own every ship they use. Some companies buy their vessels, while others charter ships from owners. Owning a ship requires huge amounts of money upfront, but you control the asset. Chartering requires less money upfront, but the rental price can become extremely expensive when demand suddenly rises. So both strategies come with risks. The same thing happens with freight prices. When global trade suddenly increases, there may not be enough ships available. Shipping companies can then charge much higher rates. And here's where things get interesting. Many of the costs of a voyage don't rise as quickly as the freight price. The ship still uses roughly the same amount of fuel. It still has the same crew. It still needs the same basic port services. So if the company suddenly charges twice as much for each container, revenue can rise much faster than costs. That's when shipping profits can explode. But the opposite can happen too. If too many ships are available and there's not enough cargo, companies start competing for customers. Freight rates fall. The ships still need fuel, crews, maintenance, and port services. Eventually, a shipping company might decide it's actually cheaper to leave a ship sitting idle than send a half-empty vessel across the ocean. This is why shipping is such a boom and bust business. Ships take years to build, but demand can change in a matter of months. When demand is high, companies order more ships. But by the time those ships are finished, demand might have fallen. Now there are too many ships chasing too little cargo. Prices drop, profits disappear, and some vessels may become worth much less than before. And the business isn't just about the ship. A shipping company is really selling a global transportation network. A container might start its journey on a truck, move onto a train, arrive at a port, travel across the ocean, and then continue by truck or rail to its final destination. Shipping companies that can manage more of that journey can sell customers a complete service instead of just ocean transportation. Ports are another major part of the equation. When a port is efficient, thousands of containers can be loaded and unloaded quickly. But when there's congestion, ships can sit outside for days. The ship isn't earning money from another voyage while it's waiting, but the crew, financing, maintenance, and other costs continue. And that's why time is extremely valuable in shipping. In the end, the business is actually pretty simple. Customers pay to move containers. Shipping companies try to carry as many containers as possible at the best price they can get, while keeping fuel, ship, port, and operating costs under control. A massive ship can generate millions of dollars in revenue on a single voyage. But after paying all the bills, the actual profit can be much smaller. So the real money isn't in the metal box. It's in the space inside the ship, the network behind it, and the difference between what customers pay and what it costs to move their cargo around the world.